Most WWE superstars climb the ladder the same way. Tag Team Championship, Mid-Card Championship, and then if all things go right, the World Championship. But some guys skip the line completely. No IC title, no United States title, no hardcore title, no European title, no 24/7 title. For this video, I am excluding Tag Team Championships, right? You can argue for sure that the tag team titles are for sure mid-card titles, but I'm more so focusing on singles mid-card titles because I think it's fascinating that some guys, I have here counted 14 guys that have never won a WWE singles mid-card title, but have held the prestige of being a WWE World Champion. I'm Jimmy from the Q. You might know me from Stache Club Wrestling, but follow me on all social media platforms. Twitter, Instagram, the TikTok. I do a daily watch of a random WWE entrance every day. Think about starting a Patreon soon. I don't know. But guys, please subscribe to my YouTube, like, share, all that good stuff, comment. And let me know what you want to see more of. And without further ado, let's go. Let's start with Brock Lesnar. This one almost feels unfair because Brock didn't climb the ladder, he freaking blew it up, man. Debuting in 2002, Lesnar won King of the Ring, destroyed The Rock at SummerSlam, and became a WWE Champion within months. No IC run, no US title run, just, instant final boss shit. Came very close to the Intercontinental Championship against Rob Van Dam. I think he might have beat him or he lost to him via DQ on a lot of house shows. Brock would look damn good with that IC title, but Brock Lesnar skipped the line and never won a mid-card championship in the WWE. I mentioned something about 14 guys earlier. I just realized Brock's good friend Bill Goldberg will also be on this list. Of course, he won the WCW United States Championship back in the day, but this is a WWE list. So Goldberg won the World Heavyweight Championship in 2003, and of course is a two-time Universal Champion, but never held mid-card gold in the WWE. So Goldberg will also be on this list too. Just adding him in here now. Wow. Good thing I didn't put this video out without mentioning the one and only Bill Goldberg. Next up, we have the boss himself, Vincent Kennedy McMahon here. Yeah, Vince just kind of said, fuck it, and let me put the title on myself. And then, yeah, why would he, at that point, put a mid-card title on himself? If you count the ECW title, then I guess I could shake your hand on that. And yes, Vince McMahon, hopefully I think at this point will never win a mid-card title. But, never say never in the field of professional wrestling. Buddy Rogers, the first ever WWE champion. Of course, back then it was the WWF champion. There's a certain sector of this list that kind of just coincides with the fact that there weren't no mid-card titles to win. But I feel like, wrestling is so crazy and longevity is longevity. Maybe at some point could have Buddy Rogers come back and win, an IC title. Nowadays or even back in the Attitude Era, there were many mid-card singles titles. But yeah, no, Buddy wasn't around then. And hats off to the original champion, Buddy Rogers. Now let's talk about Yokozuna's rise to the WWF Championship. Was as sudden as it was overwhelming. Yokozuna, never won an IC title. I think that's pretty shocking. And of course, unfortunately, wasn't around in the era to win, a hardcore title or a European title. But man, Yokozuna, one of the classic world champions of the new gen era. Next up, we have WrestleMania main eventer, Sergeant Slaughter. Yeah, that's right. Sergeant Slaughter's WWF Championship run, 1991, very controversial, obviously, but very shocking to me that he stuck around the company for a very long time. I want to even say wrestling in like 2006. The fact that he never won an IC title after winning, the WWE Championship and being around for so long is very surprising to me. I mean, wouldn't it also just make sense to have Sergeant Slaughter be the United States Champion at some point? Of course, he kind of falls in the category of the era that didn't have too many mid-card titles to win. But I digress. Sergeant Slaughter, a legend indeed. Yeah, jabroni, gotta mention the Iron Sheik on this list. Of course, eventually dropping the world title to Hulk Hogan. Wasn't around during the time of mid-card titles, but it's a damn shame that he never did. I think Iron Sheik would have made a great Intercontinental champion. I mean, at some point too, wouldn't you want to see the Iron Sheik be the hardcore champion? But I digress. Definitely falls in the category of that kind of early generation that didn't have the opportunity. But shout out the Iron Sheik. Another all-time legend that falls under that early WWF champion list that, kind of predates the IC title boom and never held it. Bruno Sammartino, I believe, competed for the title against Macho Man at some point. I remember that was on a part of a Stache Club quiz. But I digress. Never won a mid-card title in the WWE. I mean, how could he when he was always the WWF champion for like 8 million days? So no chance for Bruno to win an IC title or a US title or anything of that degree. We don't talk about Bruno. Next up is Psycho Sid. And let me just say, I believe if I was around during his prime, I would be a huge Psycho Sid mark. But a guy that is a former WWE champion and just, probably never had the need to go for the smaller titles. I know he is a former WCW United States champion, but that is WCW, not the WWE. Of course, spent a lot of time in WCW, so maybe another reason why Sid never won a mid-card title in the Fed. Next up is Andre the Giant. Often my answer for anyone that asks me, like, hey, James, if you can have, or excuse me, Jimmy, my actual, it's my actual government there. But hey, Jimmy, if you could, have a beer with any two people, living or dead, of all time, who would it be? And often my answer is Will Ferrell, and the next guy on the list, Andre the Giant. Of course, Andre held the WWF Championship in 1988, sold it to the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase. Here's the thing, it kind of comes down to Andre the Giant is just bigger than championships. Andre the Giant is a championship. He doesn't need the championship. He's Andre the freaking Giant, but it would have been really cool to see Andre as the IC champ, or even, if possible, the US champ, but of course really not, because he came a lot further down in the WWE history. But I digress. Andre the Giant, so cool. R.I.P. Speaking of a man that's simply just too big for mid-card titles, when it comes crashing down and it hurts inside, and this is really just about positioning. Of course, Hulk Hogan probably loves to hear that. Shout out Bubba Love Sponge. But anyway, Hogan never held a WWE Singles Mid-Card Championship like the Intercontinental or United States title. He was almost exclusively booked in world title programs, and first as the unstoppable babyface icon of Hulkamania, and later as the nostalgia-driven megastar during his 2002 run, where he briefly captured the WWE Undisputed Championship. Of course, won tag team gold, but we're not counting that. That doesn't work for me, brother. Maybe if he, somehow convinced Vince to beat the Ultimate Warrior at WrestleMania 6, only then would he have won the IC title, but Hogan doesn't need it. Although, no one better probably in the history of professional wrestling to win the United States Championship than Hulk Hogan, but hey. 3 remaining guys. If you liked the video so far, please subscribe. Please suggest me in the comments more videos to make. If you like this type of content, let me know to keep making it. Anyway, next up, very sad. This one is probably a matter of the career being cut too short. But Bray Wyatt, and of course too, his WWE Championship run way too short. Only had it for I want to say almost a month until he lost it to Randy Orton. But Bray Wyatt. Here's the thing about Bray Wyatt, though, never winning an IC US title. He definitely didn't need it. He was another guy that was more character-driven. You're probably wondering why The Undertaker, someone similar to Bray Wyatt, isn't on this list. Well, he actually only won the Hardcore Championship. Other than that, no other singles mid-card title for The Undertaker, and I think that kind of is a testament to character types and the fact that Bray Wyatt, really makes no sense for him really to go for an IC or US title because he kind of wants the whole world in his hands. He kind of is a character that if he's gonna fight for a championship, even if his character wants a championship, it should be for the world title because he's going for control of the company, if you will. Bray Wyatt gone way too soon. R.I.P. Next up is the great Khali. That's right. Who could forget SmackDown 06, I believe it was. Maybe even 07, actually. Probably 07. The Great Khali squeezing Rey Mysterio's head like a grape. And yeah, the Great Khali won the World Heavyweight title. After that failed project, never sniffed a mid-card title. I don't even believe he won the tag team titles. But definitely had a lengthy WWE career. Definitely could have at some point won the IC or United States Championship. But yeah, it doesn't really make sense for Khali to go for it. Don't really need him to win, the quote-unquote workhorse belts if he can't really work too often. But the Great Khali World Championship run, say what you want about it, very memorable and a very seismic moment in SmackDown history. But unfortunately for the Great One, never won the mid ones. And lastly, probably the reason why I'm making this list, because it's so damn shocking and people have this Mandela effect like he won the IC title, but he didn't. Lastly on the list is the animal, Batista. Batista's ascent to the top of the WWE was explosive. After years of being the powerhouse of the enforcer of Evolution, he broke away from Triple H in one of the most memorable turns of the Ruthless Aggression era. The iconic thumbs down, yada yada yada. World Heavyweight title at WrestleMania 21. He's a multi-time WWE Championship, many-time tag team title winner too. But the fact that this man never won the United States Championship or the Intercontinental Championship is shocking. I feel like many people had this memory of him being IC champion, perhaps in his time of Evolution, but that honor went to Randy Orton. Unlike many stars who build credibility through the IC or US title ranks, Batista bypassed the singles mid-card title scene completely. He was positioned as a main event monster from the moment he stepped on his own, going on to be multi-time world champion and WWE champion. Batista's career trajectory shows how a dominant presence and strong storyline backing can launch a superstar straight into the championship spotlight without the traditional stepping stones. If you enjoyed this deep dive into wrestling history, make sure to like the video, subscribe for more stats, lists, and stories you won't hear anywhere else, and drop a comment with what topic you want covered next. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. I'm Jimmy from the Q. Peace.